The night I lied about having a girlfriend, I didn't expect it to change my life. I didn't expect a simple, desperate sentence to echo back at me with a warmth I hadn't felt in years. And I definitely didn't expect her to take my hand and refuse to let go. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the unexpected ways life can bring people together, take a moment right now to like this video, comment your thoughts, share it with someone who needs a little hope, and subscribe to Kindness Corner. You never know who might need this story today. It was a cold evening, the kind where the air bites at your skin and the streets feel lonelier than usual. I had just gotten off a long shift, my mind exhausted, my body heavier than it should have been. Life hadn't been particularly kind lately. Work felt like a loop, friendships had faded into distant memories, and relationships, well, those had always seemed to fall apart just when I started believing in them. I lived in a quiet apartment building where most neighbors kept to themselves. Except for her. She lived across the hall, and though we had never spoken much, I had noticed her kindness in small ways. She would hold the door open for others, smile politely in passing, sometimes leave small potted plants outside her door that made the hallway feel less dull. There was something calm about her presence, like a gentle reminder that good people still existed. That night, I saw her downstairs near the entrance, and she wasn't alone. A man stood too close to her, his body language aggressive, his voice low but intense. Even from a distance, I could tell she was uncomfortable. Her arms were folded tightly, her posture tense, her eyes darting toward the door as if searching for an escape. I hesitated. It wasn't my business. That's what people always say. Stay out of trouble. Don't get involved. But something about the way she looked, trapped, uncertain, made my chest tighten. I remembered times when I wished someone had stepped in for me, when silence had felt heavier than words. Before I could think it through, I walked over. My voice came out steadier than I felt as I casually placed myself beside her and said the first thing that came to mind, the simplest lie I could think of. I told the man that she was my girlfriend and that we needed to leave. It wasn't planned. It wasn't clever. It was just instinct. For a split second, everything froze. The man looked at me, then at her, suspicion flickering across his face. I braced myself, unsure if he would argue or escalate things. But then something unexpected happened. She stepped closer to me. Her hand slipped into mine. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't forced. It was natural, firm, and warm, like she had made a decision in that moment. And then, quietly but clearly, she told him not to take it back. Those words weren't just directed at him. They were for me. The man hesitated, muttered something under his breath, and finally backed off. He walked away, leaving behind a strange silence that felt heavier than the confrontation itself. I could feel my heartbeat in my ears, my hand still wrapped in hers, both of us standing there as if time had slowed down. When the danger passed, I expected her to pull away, to laugh awkwardly, to thank me and return to being just a neighbor across the hall. But she didn't. She kept holding my hand for a moment longer, as if grounding herself, or maybe grounding me. When she finally let go, the warmth lingered, leaving behind something I couldn't quite name. We walked upstairs together without saying much at first. The hallway felt different now, less empty somehow. When we reached our doors, she turned to me, her expression softer than I had ever seen it before. She thanked me, but it wasn't just a polite thank you. It carried weight, like she meant it deeper than words could express. That should have been the end of it. But it wasn't. Over the next few days, something shifted. We started crossing paths more often, or maybe we just stopped avoiding each other. Conversations began small, simple greetings, short exchanges, but they slowly grew longer. We talked about work, about life, about the strange loneliness that comes with living in a crowded world where everyone feels distant. I learned that she had moved to the city not long ago, chasing a fresh start after leaving behind a difficult past. She didn't go into details, but there was a quiet strength in the way she carried herself, like someone who had been through storms and chosen to keep walking anyway. And somehow, she made me open up too. I found myself talking about things I usually kept buried, failures, regrets, the feeling of not being enough. It was strange how easy it became to share those things with her, like she had this way of listening that made you feel seen without being judged. But there was something else, something unspoken between us. That night. That moment. The lie that didn't feel like a lie anymore. I started wondering if she thought about it too. Days turned into weeks, and our connection deepened. We began sharing small routines, morning coffee runs, late-night conversations in the hallway, quiet moments that didn't need words. It felt natural, effortless, like something that had been missing from both our lives. But I was afraid. Afraid that I had imagined everything. Afraid that if I brought it up, I would ruin whatever we had. The memory of her words, "Don't take it back," kept echoing in my mind, but I didn't know what they truly meant. One evening, as we sat outside the building watching the city lights flicker to life, the silence between us felt heavier than usual. It wasn't uncomfortable, but it was filled with something waiting to be said. I realized then that I couldn't keep avoiding it. I told her the truth. Not just about that night, but about everything, how I had acted without thinking, how I didn't expect anything to come from it, how I had started to feel something real but didn't know if she felt the same. My voice wasn't steady this time. It carried all the uncertainty I had been holding back. For a moment, she didn't respond. She just looked at me, her expression unreadable, the city lights reflecting in her eyes. And in that silence, I felt every doubt rise to the surface. Then she smiled. Not a polite smile. Not a distant one. A real one. She told me that she had known from the beginning. That she understood it was a lie meant to protect her. But she also said that when she took my hand, it didn't feel like pretending. It felt like choosing something. Choosing safety. Choosing trust. Maybe even choosing me. She admitted that she had been scared too, scared of opening up again, scared of letting someone in after everything she had been through. But she said that something about that moment, about the way I stepped in without hesitation, made her believe that maybe not all risks end in pain. That maybe some risks lead to something worth holding on to. And just like that, the uncertainty faded. What started as a small act of kindness, a simple lie told in a moment of courage, had turned into something real. Something neither of us had planned. If this story is touching your heart right now, take a moment to like the video, leave a comment, and share it with someone who still believes in kindness. Your support helps spread stories that remind us we're not alone. Before the story ends, I have a special request for you. Comment the word hope if you believe that even the smallest act of kindness can change someone's life. Because sometimes, it really does. That night didn't just change her situation. It changed mine. It reminded me that even in a world that feels distant and disconnected, a single moment of courage can create a connection that lasts. That kindness isn't always grand or planned, it can be messy, unexpected, and imperfect. But it can still be enough. We didn't rush into anything. We didn't label things right away. We just continued, step by step, building something honest and real. And with every passing day, that moment, the one that started with a lie, felt less like an accident and more like the beginning of something meant to be. Looking back now, I realize that life doesn't always give us clear signs. Sometimes, it gives us small moments. Moments where we have a choice, to walk away, or to step in. And sometimes, those moments lead us exactly where we're meant to be. If this story moved you, if it made you believe even a little more in kindness and second chances, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Corner. Your support keeps these stories alive, and who knows, maybe the next story will be yours.